Whoops, my audio's being... Hey guys, it's Ray and we are streaming blacksmithing. Welcome in everybody. I am so glad to see you guys coming and joining me today. It was daylight savings time this weekend, so it's been a little bit wonky on a number of things. I'm kind of a little on the tired side because I'm still not quite, used to the hour earlier of everything. So it's just, I wasn't hungry for lunch, and so I delayed that, and I was a little bit on the slow side getting out here today. So I am doing my best. Last Friday, I ended the stream early, and that was because I hammered my hand while I was starting to punch the hole on our J hook. And I'm happy to report that it was just a gnarly bruise. The extra 2 days, Saturday and Sunday, I was able to kind of bring down the swelling and, kind of start healing it a little bit. So it doesn't hurt to move anymore. It just hurts when you poke it. So I'm going to do my best not to hammer my hand anymore today. And we should be good to go. It's absolutely gorgeous out here today. And so we are hoping that, we have a really great time out here today. I'm going to end up losing the sweatshirt pretty early here in the stream. But it's still a little bit nippy in here because it's just, because I had the door closed, it kind of kept a little bit of the cold in here. So once we get the forge going, it'll be pretty good. So as the stream title says, today we are going to be finishing up our J hook. So we'll be finishing the hole that we started on Friday, and hopefully we won't hammer our hand again. And then from there, we'll be shaping this guy. And then once we're finished with him, I'm going to teach you a little bit about Fredricks crosses. So I have a piece of steel right here that I've cut from my 5/8 inch bar. And then I'm going to show you kind of how to cut this piece. There's a couple different cuts that we need to do on here. Couple vertical cuts along the top edge and the bottom edge. And I'll show you how to do those with the angle grinder, and then we will open this up to a Fredricks cross. So those are our two projects today. They are both basic blacksmith projects. And yeah, that is the plan today. Let's see. It looks like I've gone immediately to commercial, but that's all right. I am going to check over to make sure I have all my tools, which I believe I do. I've got this guy. Don't need this guy yet, so he's going over here. Then I've got my hammer, my tongs, and my punch. So looks like the next thing I need to get done is starting the forge. So let's do that. This guy. And ooh, so fast today. So today I am supposed to get my new bottle jack in the UPS truck today, and it hasn't come yet, so I'm kind of waiting for it to come. And so there might be a chance that we interrupt our stream because the delivery man shows up and brings the bottle jack. So if that's the case, I apologize for, the momentary interruption. I'm pretty sure I don't have to sign for anything, so hopefully he'll just put it on the stoop and leave it. And that'll be that. Because I'm really hoping that I don't have to sign for it, because that could be a problem. All right. So into the forge we go. All right. Making sure everything is all set up and nice and ready to go. So how were you guys this weekend? I know that I had a pretty busy weekend. We ended up spending a little bit of time getting groceries and hanging out and doing some cleaning. I always feel like the weekend is just a little bit too short. I feel like maybe if I had one more day, I could find a satisfactory balance. But I mean, it is what it is, We've got Saturday and we got Sunday, and we make do with what we got. So let's see, what else did we do this weekend? We played some video games, and we went for a walk. That was pretty fun. We went for a walk and flew the drone a bit, and right next to a little pond that's in the area at a park, and that was really, really fun. We flew the drone over the water and kind of got a few of the fish jumping and some birds and stuff. So that's always really fun to do. So, but yeah, what have you guys been doing this weekend? adjusting the force just a little bit. All right, let's see here. Okay. Okay. So things to, like, some kind of housekeeping stuff. Let's see. I posted Friday's VOD, and I posted another YouTube short that posted about 10:30 a.m. So you guys can check that out if you like. If not, you know, the algorithm be the algorithm. Maybe you'll see it. Maybe more people will see it. You know, some not, or like new people will see it, and we'll take some of that and build some more community. I did make 5 more shorts, so I will start posting them throughout the rest of the week. A couple of them are just general advice pieces, and a couple of those are specifically to blacksmithing. I also posted a little bit of an edit of Ping's clip from the other week. I think that was Wednesday's stream, about where I have accidentally set my partner on fire. So I posted, or I'll be posting that one this week sometime. And then a couple other things. And I'm looking forward to making a couple more shorts. I've been doing about 5 a week, or posting about 5 a week. So I've got a little bit of leeway built up now, and so I'm starting to get to the point where I have a couple weeks built up. So we will have one 5 times a week, and for you guys to enjoy, and hopefully more people will see them, and we'll build up a community. Hey, Dark, welcome in. So we are back from, you know, hammering our hand. It was just a little tiny bit of a bruise, and so it doesn't hurt to move anymore. It's not too bad now. Kind of when I touch it hurts a little bit, but not too bad. So I'll just have to make sure that I don't hammer my hand again, and I actually focus on doing my punching today, and hopefully I won't hit it again. And because yeah, it really did hurt quite a lot, actually. I keep turning around because I think that the UPS man's going to show up, but I have this feeling that he's not going to show up today. He's supposed to show up and bring me my bottle jack for the press so that we can replace that guy, and I haven't seen him yet. So hopefully he makes it here sometime this week. Like I said, I won't be able to install it until this coming weekend. Hopefully we can get that installed on Sunday, because on Saturday my partner will not be around. He's got an event scheduled. So hopefully we can get it done on Sunday. It shouldn't take too terribly long. And then by Monday, we should be able to do our Tong project. I'm really, really looking forward to that. It'll be nice to have the press back. That way I don't have to, like, you know, use all of my stamina up hammering, and I can just stand and, you know, do a little bit more stuff after the stream. Alrighty. We're getting close to the point where we can start hammering. It is starting to get a little bit on the warm side, so I think I might actually take off my my sweatshirt. And I was kind of looking at my my outfit today, and you might not be able to see it now because I have the apron on, but I just grabbed the first shirt out of the laundry that I found, and it turns out that my shirt and my pants are the same color, so I'm kind of glad that I have the apron on. I don't know, maybe it breaks up the color a little bit. I guess it doesn't really matter too bad, you know, if my pants and my shirt are the same color. Maybe it's, you know, I think I was more worried that maybe they aren't actually the same color and I just think they are. You know, it's like the goth problem where, you know, you got to make sure that your blacks match. So, want to make sure that, you know, I'm fashionable enough to be blacksmithing out here today. All right. So we're going to pull this piece of steel out and start hammering. Or we could just drop it. That sounds good too. Don't worry, we won't call the fashion police on you. Thanks, Dark. I appreciate that. Sometimes I am a little overly cautious about my fashion, but I mean, I kind of feel like I shouldn't have to be because all I ever wear are like, you know, jeans or cargo pants and a t-shirt. So it's not like I'm ever fashionable anyway. So, you know, when I go to a more formal setting, I have a tendency to dress up a little bit more, but I'm still never like wearing dresses and skirts and like that. I guess I'm, you know, just not that girly. I do try occasionally, like if people ask me, I'll wear dresses and skirts, but I just don't like wearing them, you know? It's, I don't know, it's weird. I mostly dress in black in civilian clothes and blue at work. Welcome into Carlo. Me either. Yeah. I don't know. I just don't like dresses and skirts. I don't know if it's because when I was growing up, we went to church all the time, and my mom dressed me up in like dresses and skirts and frilly things in the dead of winter, and I was just, my legs were always so cold in the winter time, and I hated it. It's like, I just want to wear pants or something under my dress. Can I just wear like, you know, a pair of long underwear under my dress? Is that good enough? Is that dressy enough? And no, I was never able to do that. So my legs froze and we went to church. So, you know, now I'm like, I get to choose what I want to wear. So I'm going to wear pants all the time. All right, let's see. I'm gonna look over at my bullet points because we didn't finish the scripting that are like the bullet points that I wanted to cover for our video. So I need to take a look at those and make sure that I hit all of my points so that I can do the edits that I need to do. It looks like I need a couple more shots of me punching the hole with the anvil camera. So I need to remember to turn it on and record before I pull the next heat. And let's see. So yeah, I need to make sure that I get a couple more of the middle of the punch, and then I definitely want to get a shot of me punching the slug out of the bottom of the hole. So we'll get a couple shots of that. And then other than that, I think we should be pretty good. Ah, yes, the freedom of adulthood. Exactly. You know, you get to wear whatever it is that you want to wear. You don't have to, you know, eat your vegetables like, you know, the ones that you don't like, you know, Brussels sprouts and things like that. And, or you get to cook them in a way that tastes better. You know, you get to eat candy for breakfast if you want, you know, all that stuff. I enjoy being an adult. I don't know that I would want to be a kid again. Every once in a while, my partner and I discuss like what we might do if we went back in time with, like, you know, all of our memories intact, and we can never really come up with a thing to do, you know. What, or is there anything that we could possibly change, you know, to like improve our finances or like improve the world? And I'm just like, we've never really come up with anything significant. Because I mean, if you know, you're like a little kid and you just like go up to like some, you know, politician or whatever, it's like, could you really prevent anything? Like, you know, could you warn people of like some of the Beijing tsunamis or like 9/11 or anything like that? And it's like, would anybody even like believe you? So I don't know. I think I'm pretty happy the way things are right now. I would dodge my ex and pay better attention at school. I mean, there is some things like that, you know. If you had foreknowledge of what might be coming ahead, you could kind of like make sure that you don't make a few choices that you didn't want to make. Maybe, you know, make up for a few regrets here and there. But it's kind of like, I'm pretty happy with my life. I don't really have too terribly many regrets. I kind of feel like, you know, even if the regrets that I do have, it's like, I don't even know if there would be a way to avoid them, you know? One of the things that would be amazing is if I could have not gotten sick, but it's like, how do you not get sick? Is there, you know, especially if, you know, someone brought it to you, someone that you lived with. So I don't know. I don't know. I feel like some people might be able to do more than, you know, other people. So, you know. But I couldn't really think of anything. I think I'm pretty happy with my life. So, all right, I am going to turn on the other camera and start it recording. So that way I can get a few pretty shots of, there we go, of me doing the hole, or like the hole punch. And I'm being a little bit of extra cautious with this because, I don't know, I guess I'm just afraid of hammering my hand again. So we'll see. It might take us a few extra heats in order to get this done, but we're gonna be extra safe. Hi, Ray. Hi, Mahalo. Welcome in. I saw that you were in earlier and like right before I started streaming. Yeah, I wasn't quite ready. Like, daylight savings time has kind of like thrown off my sense of equilibrium and my sense of time. So I started getting out all of the things a little bit later. Had to run an errand right when you started. Oh, that makes sense. Real life always comes first. As far as, I always say that for like the people that are in my guild in video games, it's like, you know, if we have an event or like a raid or something like that, and you need to do stuff in real life, you need to go and do that. I don't want anybody to like fail a class because they didn't do their homework because they were raiding or like, you know, doing some kind of a guild event or anything like that. So, you know, get your sleep, do your errands, do your homework. Make sure that you got your, you know, you focus on your life, because some of this other stuff online is not nearly as important. All right, let me switch my cameras real fast. So I have a sneaking suspicion that really a zen. I know exactly where I'm going to hit it, but I think I'm a little bit afraid to do it. So you can kind of see here that I've got the roundness, or like the ghost of a circle that is already forming from our punch. A lot of that was done on Friday, and we're just going to continue to punch all the way through. So it might take us a few heats, but we'll get that done. Well, I won't be around for long. I just got a call from work. Day shift tomorrow. Ooh, day shift. So that must mean you gotta get some rest in, you know? Make sure you get enough sleep in so that you can make sure that the train stays on the tracks. I feel like that's really important. So yeah, I kind of feel like today we might have a little bit lower number of viewers because a lot of our viewers are, you know, from Europe, and Europe is a lot smarter than the US, and they don't actually do daylight savings time anymore. So I feel like the entire stream is an hour earlier, and it makes it, in the first couple of weeks, it makes it really difficult for people to kind of adjust in both the US and in Europe, and it's just kind of annoying. Every year I hear that the US Congress has voted to affirm and get rid of daylight savings time, but then they never decide whether they're going to do, you know, the spring summer time or the fall winter time. And so it never goes through. And I'm just like, can we just, you know, pick one and stop doing daylight savings time? I mean, nobody cares anymore. It's just a bunch of heartache. Indeed, not quite true. Some countries still do that. It's worse, they do it on different weeks. Yeah. Like my country, in my opinion, it's dumb and obsolete. It's definitely dumb and obsolete. It's just like, I kind of feel like because we have clocks and they're on universal time now, you know, everybody's got a cell phone, and all of the cell phones sync up to like the world clock nowadays. And so, you know, Google keeps our time, and it's like, you know, everybody's going to be able to like sync up their clocks. So it's like, why do we need daylight savings time anymore? The farmers can just get up an hour earlier if they need to, you know? Why do the rest of us have to lose an hour of sleep too? I just find it upsetting. A little bit. We don't need to lose that extra hour of sleep. All right, we are going to pull the material out. Start another heat. be changing time on Sunday, the 30th of March. Why don't we do it all at the same time? That is so weird. Hit daylight savings with a hammer, exactly. You prefer DST to standard. I like a little extra evening light. That makes sense. And doing stuff in the summer, I don't want to be up at 4 a.m. Exactly. I mean, I like to make sure, I mean, it's kind of hard too, because like in the winter time, you know, if you didn't do daylight savings time, it would start getting dark a lot earlier. And I just feel like, you know, it's kind of hard when you're trying to function correctly, or, you know, function in the daylight. And I mean, I guess I do kind of get it, but at the same time, I think it's obsolete. We should just, like, you know, get over it, I guess. I don't care which time they would keep, just pick one and stick with it. Why are all your nails on point though? Oh, are my nails on point? My nails are on point because I'm too lazy to cut them. Normally I'll cut them to like the nubs, just so that they don't start breaking, but I get to this point and they look really, really nice. And then about the next day, one of them will rip or break. And then I've got like, you know, one really short one and the rest are really long. So since I started streaming, I'm kind of trying to make sure that they are at least all even. So yeah, I will probably within the next day or two cut them all off again. I don't have a tendency to paint them. I used to paint them when I was younger. A lot of times I'd actually paint them black. But the reason I ended up painting them black is because, not because I thought black was a fashionable color, but it's because when you are etching copper, a lot of times I'll use black enamel nail polish to kind of cause or become the resist. So the stuff that I want to be high, I paint it with black nail polish, and then the things that I want to be eaten by the acid, I'll leave that bare. And so it was kind of just like, while I was at it, you know, drawing my stuff and making sure that I get the highs and the lows. I just paint my nails too. So, but they always end up chipping, so I stopped. I'm a winter night type of person, lover of temperature, and lesser the better the condition for me. Ew, you like cold weather. I am not a cold weather person, not at all. I think part of it is because, you know, I was born in the South, and so I kind of feel like, you know, my body temperature regulated it a little bit warmer. And I feel like my body temperature runs hot. So I hate being cold. It is so easy for me to be cold. I keep my house at like 77 degrees a lot, which a lot of people are like, that's an oven. Why do you keep it so warm in here? And I'm just like, I can't get out of my sweatshirt unless it's in the high 70s. So yeah, I like the warmth. Okay, we're gonna do another heat real fast. Trying not to fight this. turn it over and kind of come back on the other side to give ourselves a little bit of a back and forth, and it makes it a little bit easier to kind of tear it apart, or like tear the blank out. I have a higher blood pressure, so faster heat distribution temperatures in my flat is almost constantly around 60. Ooh, 60. That would be so cold for me. And welcome in, Bluesy. I'm glad you could join us. According to my timer, we are running on an ad. Some of you, I'm sure, are still around. But I want to make sure that everybody gets to see all of my heats, so we will definitely wait until the timer is up, although I don't think we'll have enough heat until well after the timer is out. So yeah, like I said, I have a tendency to keep my house around 77 degrees, definitely in the summer, but sometimes also in the winter. It can get really, really expensive when it gets really cold to heat the house up to 77, but it's never colder than 74 in my house. I would seriously be living in my sweatshirt if it was colder than 74, and I kind of feel like I already live in my sweatshirt over the winter months, regardless of how warm it is in my house. Because some of the rooms in my house are warmer than other rooms, right? So I have an addition to my house my house was built in like the 30s, and then I have an addition that was built in the 80s, and the addition doesn't have any insulation underneath of it, so like the floor gets so cold. And so the back half of my house in that addition is frigid in the wintertime. And then the rest of my house is relatively pleasant. But yeah. What's 77? I keep my farm a nice and toasty 17. Such a modern house. Yeah. I mean, I don't think there are any like really old houses in the United States. I mean, we've only been a country for about 250 years, of course. And so most of our houses are like no more than 100 years old. Anything before that wasn't built up to like modern standards. So they're like even a lot of them were like more temporary shelters. So a lot of them have like fallen down or gone to disrepair, and people will tear them down and put new stuff there. So yeah, like my parents' house was 150 years old, but that's the oldest house that I have ever, come across, except for maybe some like very wealthy plantation houses or stuff out on the East Coast. But in the area where I live, there's nothing that is older than 150 years. And I know that is so new for all of you guys in Europe, because, I mean, housing in Europe, it's like you guys have been building and living in the same houses for like, hundreds, if not thousands of years. And I feel like the quality of the houses in Europe is so much better than the houses here in the United States. My farm was completed in 1348. Ooh, wow. The old plantation houses in the South are older, but many were wrecked in the Civil War. They really were. There aren't very many who, or like that haven't, that have survived from the very, very beginning. At least not completely intact. So a lot of them just went to disrepair, and they just got knocked down because it wasn't like they were kind of condemned, So, I don't know. There's just not that kind of quality here in the United States. All right. Let's do another heat. Around a little bit, so that means we need to get a little bit more heat. We're starting to get a lot of bulging on the sides of this piece, and that's going to happen when you've kind of got a skinnier section that you're trying to expand with your punch. So we'll kind of have to go back over that a little bit and kind of clean that up. Do you take holiday reservations? It sounds like a good spot. Yeah, Bluesy takes holiday reservations. You could totally Airbnb your house out. It sounds like, you know, it would be cool. Or you could like build a little like apartment or a trailer or something out in the back, and then, you know, a lean-to. I have upgraded it, but okay, let us be simple. My walls are 3 feet thick, loam and stone. What about yours? My walls are, well, I actually am lucky enough to have a brick house. So my walls are like, they're about yay thick, I guess, because that's about how thick a brick would be. And then there's insulation beyond that. And then I have lath and stucco on the inside. So I don't know, my walls are probably about yay thick maybe-ish. But I'm one of the lucky ones. Like the walls on my extended shop, they aren't brick. It's just siding. And those walls are about yay thick because they have no insulation. So like my house is really not sturdy at all in comparison to, you know, the whole foot thick with, you know, the European construction with like stone and mortar and stuff. Woohoo, the brick house. I do have a brick house. But I kind of feel like brick houses aren't nearly as common as just wooden and siding houses. And that's what my parents' house is. It's like wood and siding. They had a lot of lath, and they did stucco on the inside as well. They eventually took all of the stucco out and then drywalled the whole thing. But I mean, a drywall is, or like a sheet of drywall is only about yay thick. I don't know, I'd say it's about maybe 2.5 centimeters thick. And I mean, then there's like, you know, about, I'd say maybe 10 centimeters thick of like insulation, and then it's just the siding, you know? So it's just the quality isn't there. I'm gonna check my anvil cam right here, make sure that I've got a clip going still. And I'm gonna stop that clip and start a new one. Because we're getting to the point where we are gonna have to turn that over and come at it from the back side. Because, yeah. And I will be doing that in a couple heats. Brick houses are about the cheapest houses in Europe. Okay, there are some prefabs, but even our prefabs have stone around the wood. Yeah, I feel like that makes a whole lot more sense, because I mean, you know, if you have a brick and stone house, that house is going to last so much more than, or so much longer than a wood and lath house, or like, you know, wood and plywood. But I kind of feel like in the United States, at least, all of these prefab houses that people are making, they're never meant to last for 100 years. They're meant to last maybe 50 years, and then they can level them and like rebuild the houses and sell them again. So it's just kind of, there aren't any like generational dwellings anymore in the United States. People are just constantly moving around. And I think that's kind of a shame, to be honest.
About one more heat, and then we'll flip it over and try from the back side. We are starting to get a little bit of bending, and we're gonna, in our next heat, we're also going to kind of try and flatten that out a bit so that we don't have like that extra curve, because it's gonna start stretching out our hole, and we don't want that to happen.
Well, I know we had a wooden house in Ohio. I did not like it. It was warm and all that, but it was the wrong stones. Yeah, because like in the United States, we kind of build our stones at almost terracotta. It's like more like a clay instead of like, you know, river stones. And I feel like the quality, you want it to be more natural stones. So I mean, you know, river stone or like cut quarry stone. I feel like that's going to be, you know, give you the highest quality of materials for like a long-term house. One that is, you know, supposed to last and last and last. But here we just don't do it. We don't put that effort and that quality into our housing. I'm kind of trying to remember to take a few breathing breaks and to kind of remember that I don't have to fill my sentences. I can actually take pauses and stuff. So I'm hoping that I'm using less ums and ahs. I'm getting a little bit more comfortable talking and holding on conversations. But now that I'm thinking about it, I can definitely tell that I am saying and ah and a lot. Man, I keep forgetting, or I keep looking back because I'm waiting for a UPS truck. I keep thinking that it's gonna come, and I have this like sneaking suspicion that it's not gonna come until tomorrow. I should actually, just to be sure, I should like check my tracking number. Yes, you are improving. Oh, Loam, it's basically straw covered in mud, but the stone at the outside helps. Hey, you're trying. I do try. I'm trying really hard, because I mean, it's one of those things where I don't actually, when I learned to speak, a lot of people would interrupt me as I was trying to explain things. in my family, and because I have a very loud and boisterous family. And so I kind of learned to fill all of the holes and gaps and pauses in my speaking with like more words. So I have to unlearn that habit because nobody is going to be interrupting me today. All right, let's see. My Home Depot order apparently was delivered. It says it's been delivered. When was it delivered? Okay, it says it's been delivered, so I'm gonna believe the website and this email. So hopefully it's sitting on my stoop, and once the stream is over, I'll go and pick it up. I am actually relatively safe from porch pirates here because I have a really busy street right there, and so we don't actually get a lot of pedestrians in front of my house. The sidewalk is on the other side of the street, so I think it's safe enough that I don't need to go and like run and get it right this second. I also kind of feel like maybe they claim that it's been delivered and it hasn't actually been delivered yet. So I think I will check once the stream is over, and I'll stop checking now, you know, or like by looking out the window. All right. We've got plenty of heat. Or go get it now. Will wait for me. Okay. You guys are okay with me waiting? Okay, I will go and see if it's there. I'll be right back. Let's see. You guys can actually still hear me, so I can still talk to you. Because I'm on... My Bluetooth might eventually, like, wear out. Oh, there it is. It's right here. Exciting. It's on the ground, so I kind of got to kneel to pick it up. Alrighty. Back into the shop I go. Alrighty, I am back. Am I tripping? No, I'm not. Check it out, guys. It's here. It's here. Exciting. All right, I'm gonna put it over here, and then we're gonna get back to work. Woohoo! And we have Mahalo to thank for that, because Mahalo funded our lovely new shop press with a timely and amazing donation to KoFi. So thank you so much, Mahalo. Lift with your back, not your legs. Exactly. So yes, yay, it's here. We will be able to put that in, hopefully this weekend, and we will start using it as long as it functions. There is a chance that, like, you know, it might have gotten jostled in transit, so hopefully it hasn't. And we'll be able to install it and start working on Monday. I'm very, very excited, actually. All right. Let's do another heat.
Keeping on with this hole. Make sure I'm looking. And on our next heat, we're going to be able to flip this guy over to the other side and kind of hammer back on itself to kind of loosen that steel. Give it a little bit of a little bit more leverage and stuff. Now we're gonna hammer it flat a little bit. maybe like that. We've kind of got a little round section here that we can kind of, it's like a ghosting. We can kind of see where we're going to put that down for our next heat, and then we'll push back that material so it'll rip right out of there when we get the plug out. So I'm really looking forward to that.
What is wrong with the bottle jack? Okay, so this bottle jack right here, it is actually the pressure release valve is stuck open. It doesn't close anymore, so I can pump air through here, and it will go to. It will close the two dies, but once it's closed, it won't put any pressure on it. So it's not functional for the use that I need it for. Because like I said, the overpressure valve is stuck open, if that makes sense. So the new bottle jack shouldn't have that issue, and we should be able to use it just like when this one was brand spanking new. And this one's also a much better, or a much higher quality bottle jack, so it should do us really long time and really well. Yep, so I couldn't just fix it, I had to replace it. But I mean, that's kind of how I roll. I buy a tool that I'm not sure that is going to function for what I need it to, and then I use it, see if it works for what I need it to, and then I start using it until it breaks. And then I buy a better version of it, and then I just use it. And that's kind of how I roll to make sure that I get the biggest bang for all my dollars. The reason, so why not just fix or replace the pressure valve? This bottle jack was actually designed to be, like temporary, I guess. It doesn't have the, it's all cast as one piece. It's not, I don't have the ability to replace it because it's like kind of locked in there. I'd have to like break it off in order to get the old one out. They kind of, in the United States, a lot of things like this are designed to be disposable. And yeah, so unfortunately I could not fix it, so I had to buy a new one. Hopefully this one will be fixable when it eventually, starts to give out. But it should take a very, very long time for it to give out. I'm a farmer. Anything that breaks, I fix. So yes, it is totally a bad design. But I think that in the United States, because we are such a capitalist corporation first country, a lot of stuff is poorly designed deliberately to break and force you to buy new things. So, like if this handle were to break, I could fix that. But like, some more complicated things, it's kind of more difficult to fix. All right, let's take another heat.
All right, so we're going to turn this guy over. And then look at this ghosting. Hammering it back on itself. starting to puff out back towards us. So from here, we're going to be able to bring it over to the Pritchell hole and pop that slug right out of there. So that should be the next heat or two, and it should, in theory, pop right out.
Yes, engineered obsolescence, exactly. Or Dark says, or I could ask Yankee to make me a new one. Yes, exactly. I could totally ask Yankee to make a new one for me. He would be so much better at it than I am. I'm just not, I don't have the patience for rehandling things. I do it quick and dirty, so it's functional but not pretty. Like electric cars, 10 years and you need to buy a new battery that costs more than the car is worth. Exactly. And that's seriously because people just want you to continue to consume, and they don't want you to be able to fix things. Like a lot of US made cars, they have parts that deliberately can only be accessed by using proprietary tools that you can only get at dealerships anymore, and it's just obnoxious. It's so that you have to go back to the dealer in order to fix your car. You can't do it yourself. So like we try very hard to find vehicles that we can work on ourselves. So we have a Kia Rio, and that thing, we've been able to replace so many parts on it. Unfortunately, my truck is a Chevy Colorado, and that one, it's got like a whole bunch of electronic products or like parts in it, and like computers and stuff. And I'm just kind of afraid that one day the computer chips are going to burn out, and I'm just never going to be able to use my car again. So I hope it takes a long time for that to happen. All right, so if I look at my bullet points, I have made it to, I just need to punch out the slug. So I need a shot of me punching out the slug on the Pritchell hole, and I can talk about that a little bit. And then I need to shape it and clean it up, and then we should be good to go. And we will have a hook that we can hang our paper clip from. It's very exciting. We know, and here in Europe, the dealership can do that 3 years, and after that, they need to sell it to anyone. We know. Yeah, it's kind of. Oh, okay. So in Europe, you have laws that make it so that they can only do proprietary tools for 3 years, and then they have to distribute them. That's what that reads as. Yeah, that's a better system. But the United States government is very pro-corporation, so there are less regulations about things like that around here. But it would be very, very nice if they'd allow that to happen. I do believe that a lot of times our local car shops, like the independent ones, are able to kind of get generic versions of some of the proprietary tooling. And they can occasionally do some stuff, or like more complex stuff, but it's a little bit more expensive and it's harder for them to do. It's like there's a lot of pieces that are very knuckle buster inside of engines nowadays. Only reason I gave up my old car was that it was way too worn. That makes sense. Like I'll drive a car until the wheels fall off if I can manage it. My last truck before the one that I have now, we got rid of that guy because the computer that controlled the starter was on the fritz, so it would only intermittently start, and I needed a reliable vehicle, you know, so I could get to work reliably. So we ended up having to get rid of that one, and we bought this guy, and it's one of the most reliable vehicles I've had. What if you meet Slug Mohammed? Are you not afraid to use the slug will knock you out? Maybe. The slug, if I get slugged with the slug, exactly. I might get knocked out, or I might get a nice burn on my face or something, you know. Otherwise, it was great. I wouldn't want to buy a new one. Yeah, I don't like a lot of the newer cars anymore. There's so many more SUVs and trucks on the road in the United States, and it's hard to get like a sedan anymore. We get hatchbacks more frequently, but most people are driving like SUVs and trucks. Our cars are huge. It's so hard to see anybody else's vehicles. Got rid of John Deere's because they don't allow us to work on them. Exactly. I actually used to live in Moline, Illinois, which is the international headquarters of John Deere tractors. So a lot of the people that I grew up with actually work at John Deere. But yeah, a lot of them, they're like, they don't want you to work on their tractors. They want you to go to their dealers, and that way they can make more money. My 2006 Tacoma suspension is shot, but it's still chugging along. Yeah, too much computers and wires in them. Exactly. It's like, I don't mind if I don't have a radio or like heat or, you know, air conditioning or whatever, as long as the vehicle runs. That's what I want out of a vehicle. It's just, yeah. There's somebody walking in the neighbor's yard. That's kind of weird. They're taking a shortcut. There's like we have really large properties, and so yeah, it's unusual for people to actually take the shortcut though. It's kind of weird. Sorry, I got distracted. All right, let's do another heat real fast. So we're going to come over here to the Pritchell hole, and we're going to start really laying in on it. Let's get this slug out of here. Can I get it in there? There we go. Might take one more heat. There it went. So you can see right there that we've punched all the way through. Exactly like we wanted to. Yes. So now I have to like get it out of here. Come on. Come on. What if I do this? Like that. Hammer it right out again, hopefully. Nope, it doesn't want to. Okay. Turn it, maybe. There it went. And it looks like we've lost a little bit of that temper. That's why you got to be really, really careful when you are punching holes to make sure that you are cooling them down as you go. So I'll have to re-temper that one in a little bit. But we've got our lovely hole. We're going to clean that up just a little bit, and we'll be on to decoration. That was not a slug. Slugs are slimy and have 1 foot. Exactly. It was a little tiny piece of round steel. Where is it? Is it around? Sometimes I have them and sometimes I lose them. And this time I think I lost it. I don't see it now. Oh, wait, there it is. It's right there. Let's see if I can't pick it up. It might not let me because it's kind of flat. I'll have to pick it up when it's cooler. Once it cools down, I'll pick it up and I'll show it to you. But it's like a little tiny round circle, like a hole punch, like the little pieces of paper that you pull out of your hole puncher. I have a mod, or I mean an auto mod message. Let's see here. Whoops. I need to ban them. Okay, cool. Let's see. There's lots of dream cars out there. I always wanted a Trans Am. That was my dream car, like a 1980 Trans Am in black with a T-top. And I thought that would be the greatest car. And I don't know that, I think that it would be a little bit expensive to get a hold of one nowadays. But you can totally like work on them yourself and everything. And they're like great sports cars. All right, so I'm gonna put this guy away. Over here. And, all right. Don't worry, I have fried slugs before. And the screaming chicken. Do slugs scream? I don't think they... I've never heard of a slug screaming. 100% chicken on the hood. Yeah. The Trans Am, it does have a chicken on the hood. I think it's really cool looking, though. It's just, you know... I think it actually comes down to when I was a kid, one of the guys that my mom knew had a Trans Am with the Firebird on it. And I thought that was such a cool car. And he was so cool. He wore like, you know, cowboy boots and a leather jacket. And, you know, I thought that was so cool. If you were to pick a sports car, or if I were to pick a sports car, it would be a Shelby Cobra. Yeah. There are too lazy and underpowered to be a sports car. Yeah. I don't know. I'm not a big car person. Like, I don't know much about cars. Just that, you know, a lot of them nowadays you just can't, you know, fix up. I know that, like, a lot of people have, you know, been able to fix up their cars in the past, and, you know, build cars, restore them and stuff. And I think that's a really cool hobby. It's just not in my wheelhouse. I would love to do some custom work for like a motorcycle, though. There are motorcyclists that will do custom gas tanks, and they'll like do different designs where they'll like hammer out different like animals or like whatever design that they want into the gas tank. And those are so, so cool. I would love to do one of those. Maybe one day we will, especially on stream. I've always loved chasing a repose, and that's kind of the technique that's used for those gas tanks. I do a lot of repairing of tractors. I mean, that makes sense. I mean, if you're a farmer, you really want to be able to repair your tractors because it can be really, really expensive having other people do that for you. So I know that my grandfather, he always tried really, really hard to, you know, be able to fix his tractors. And, but he was also a semi-truck mechanic. So he had quite a bit of experience working with engines, and I guess I just never inherited all of that. He passed away when I was about 12 years old, so I just wasn't old enough to learn from him. I ended up taking his hammer and then becoming a blacksmith later. Apparently, he used to have an anvil too, but my biological father took that because he was a farrier, and my mom just kind of gave it to him, and he took it, and they aren't together anymore, so I don't have access to that anvil. Have a great night, Dark. Sleep well. And I will be careful. I don't have to use the punch anymore, so my hand is safe. Thank you for the wishes or well wishes. And yeah, have a great night. That is why I have a vise on my tractors. Yes, exactly. Gotta fix them. All right, so now we are going to
clean up the area where the hole is, because it kind of warped a little bit when we went to the pritchel hole over here. So now we've got a really nice hole, and we just need to make sure that it is all lined up and ready to go and pretty. So it looks pretty straight along that spine. If you look down down that straight line, you can see it's pretty flat there. So I'm pretty happy. And now we're going to start in on the J. So we're going to turn this guy around, and we're going to do a little bit of a scroll right here. It's going to be a backward scroll. So we're going to start from this position, kind of scroll it backwards, and then when we make that J, it will kind of curl this guy or this way while the J curls this way. So that's exactly the way we want it to go. Oh, I promised that we were going to do a twist, so we'll do a twist too.
So yeah, for the next heat, we're actually gonna, instead of doing the scroll, we're gonna come over to the post vise, and we're going to do a twist. So that means that I need to move the anvil camera. So we're gonna do that real fast. All right, I'm on that. We're good to go with that. I'm gonna, I hope I got that. I should have gotten it. Okay. Let's see. I need to turn this guy off. Unplug it. So we are going to, move this camera over here. And then we'll come over this way and plug it in. All right, now we need to give ourselves a bit of time to focus. All right. Whoops, too far. There we go. And I am gonna move my water cup over here for the moment. And, whoa, tripping hazards everywhere by moving this camera right here. And now I'm gonna see. Okay, so I feel like that's a pretty decent view. And you guys will be able to see all the things that I put in here. So if I were to put in, you know, like a nice, you know, drill bit, you guys would be able to see it pretty well. Looks pretty good. Alright. So I have 2 cameras, Bluesy, which means that as long as I, you know, make sure that I'm on the correct camera, you guys will never have to see me shake the camera shake. So I feel like that's a pretty good, you know, a pretty good deal. You'll get to watch me move the camera and kind of see a little bit of the behind the scenes. Okay, now I've got all that ready, but I need to get my wrenches. No. Ugh. I knocked over a thing that I didn't want to knock over. Okay, so I have a couple of wrenches here. And gotta make sure that they are small enough that we can do a really good turn on the piece. Alrighty, we've got plenty of heat in there, I think. So I'm gonna turn this guy and we are going to start recording. Excellent. And here we go. I'm gonna end up walking in front of this camera real fast like so. Sorry about that. There goes all of my equipment. Let's see about making sure I can actually get it where I want it to be. Alright, I want this turn to be about right there. Make that just a little bit bigger. Needs to go a little bit bigger. So we're going to do this. We might need to get a little bit more heat because I am losing some heat. Alright, I think that's what we're going to do. Maybe we'll do, yeah. I'm going to grab a little bit more heat and then we'll be ready to go. Sure we get enough heat to get that. Okay. Let's see. Those are adjustable hammers. They are adjustable hammers. You use what tools you have at hand, you know, for the jobs that you need them for. So, I mean, I try not to use my adjustable crescent wrenches as hammers, but you know, if that's all I've got around, except for my forging hammers, I do actually use them in that manner. Okay, let's see. We are starting to lose a little bit of heat, so once we get this twist taken care of, I'm going to move the camera back, and then I'm also going to change the tank so that we've got plenty of heat. This guy is starting to freeze up because we are, you know, we've only got about yay amount of propane left. If all you have is a nail, everything is a hammer. Good evening. Oh, new setup. Oh, yeah. So right now we are doing some twisting. So I have the camera set up for the post vise so that you guys can actually see what's going on a little bit easier than from the wide shot. So I have two cameras. I've got my wide one and I've got my close-up camera. So I just moved it a little bit. We'll move it back over there where it goes when we move back to the anvil for our curving. But for the moment, this is how it is, or you guys get the best view. Okay, we've got a little bit, or we've got plenty of heat, so we'll start working again. Get this twist going. Okay, just like this. Come on, I got you. Here we go. All right, that is a gorgeous twist. I like that quite a lot. We are going to clean that up just a little bit. And that's pretty. It is a 180-degree twist that you can definitely see there. We'll need to kind of straighten it out just a little bit and we'll be good to go. So I'm going to put this back in the forge. I'm going to flip it first. So there we go. It's a little bit bent. As you can tell, it kind of cocks that way a little bit. We're going to straighten that guy out. We'll put this back in the forge, and like I said, I do need to kind of do a couple of bit of maintaining things. I gotta move this guy over there again. Ah, that's pleasant. Kick your camera. Alrighty. So we'll unplug this guy and move him back where he belongs. Which is over here. Now I need to plug him back in. Turn it on. There we go. All right, and we'll hit the record button. Oh noes. I've created a massive tripping hazard. There's a giant cord that's kind of like at knee height. Come on, let's twist again like we did last summer. Yes, the twist. Although I think I'm doing this wrong. Nah, it's this way. Something like that. All right. Let's see. Yes. We're gonna switch the propane tanks. So now that we are no longer doing the twists, I can use these same guys here. So close that. And open that. Whoops, this way. Not the other way. There we go. Alright. Juggling propane is always a blast. Okay, now we'll open it. Maybe we'll open it. Hopefully we'll open it. Why is this being dumb? All right, I guess we're not using that one because it is stuck closed. This will be one that I am changing the tanks for. This is partially why I changed the tanks, I exchanged the tanks instead of getting my, or like owning my own and refilling it. Because if there's ever an issue with the tank, then I don't have to deal with it. The propane supplier has to deal with it. And I think that's really nice. It makes me feel a little bit safer about these nozzles. All right. But I mean, as long as you take care of a propane tank, it's gonna last for a good long time. All right. Let's open this guy. All right, good to go on that. And let's start her up. There we go. And we are back in business. Heck yeah. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. My camera will kick me back when I least expect it because you know what? Like I said, I've got this like long cable, you know, attached to this guy, and it's like a jump rope. I think I accidentally like. Let me see if I can't. I'm gonna need to because yeah. There we go. Now it's not so bad. Did I turn this? I am recording, so I'm gonna get sick later on when I'm editing this. Lefty, tighty, righty, loosey, yep. If juggling propane is a blast, you're doing it wrong. Exactly, Mahalo. Exactly. I should not, you know, make things be... I should not joke about explosions. All right, my water's over here. We moved it so you guys didn't have to look at my water, and it wasn't in my way when I was twisting things. Famous last words. I guess that's tight now. Exactly, right? Exactly. Ooh, we've got plenty of heat. A little bit too much heat going on there. Let's turn that down just a hair. It didn't sound like it was going high enough, but now I feel like it's going too high. All right. We got an ad starting soon, but I'm going to start this recording because I got to talk a little bit. I need a real fast. All right. So when we twist a piece of steel, sometimes it bends and it cocks a little bit weirdly. So we use our rawhide hammer to straighten that out. The beauty of the rawhide hammer is that you won't mar your steel when you're using it because it's very flexible. How's the thumb and hand today? The thumb and hand is actually pretty good. It just got bruised, so it was a relatively deep tissue bruise. But I had all weekend to kind of recover from it, so it's to the point now where it's like a cut, but it's like more of a, if you touch it, I can feel a little bit of the bruise left, but overall it's fine. I just needed to make sure that I brought down the swelling enough that it was going to heal faster. The more swelling you get, the harder it is for it to heal. So I am back and in business, and I'm not going to let hammering my hand get me down for too long. It looks like I'm almost done with the commercial break, according to my timer at least. I know some of you don't follow the timer when it comes to commercials because Twitch is weird about that. But yeah. There must be protective gear for that, maybe gloves. I mean, there is something to wearing gloves. But I mean, I kind of also am. The reason I don't tend to wear gloves on my my metal holding hand is because I get a lot of extra grip from using my fingertips and my skin, and I get that tactile sense, and it's easier to hold the material so it's not sliding around in my hand. And you can kind of get that with welding gloves because they're made out of that nice raw leather. But it's welding gloves are really, really big for me. So like I'll put my hand in a welding glove and the tip of it is like this high off of my finger. And so it's just really, really difficult for me to use them. So I only use them when I absolutely have to, if that makes any sense. Is my apron made of canvas or some other material? Fourth Fiddle, welcome in. And thank you, Forge CDN, for the follow. Yes, this is actually like it's like a leather apron. It's not like, or it's kind of like a welding glove, like the same type of leather quality, or like a leather jacket, for welding. It's not like a fashion leather, it's just a raw leather, unpolished, I guess. You can get welding gloves in size 4. Well, it's one of those things where I need to order them, and I never remember to order things. So I do. I definitely need to order a set of small leather gloves, but I can't just go to the store and buy a pair of small leather gloves. And it's just, getting out there and making sure that I remember to order it. Gloves are dangerous for rotating machinery. And yes, they are very dangerous for rotating machinery because they do get caught in there. And if your hand is stuck in the glove, your hand will go with it when it goes and gets caught in the rotation. We don't have to deal with quite the amount of danger just at the anvil, but I try not to do anything with the bench grinder when I'm wearing gloves because I don't want to, it to suck my hand in there. I also wouldn't use gloves with a lathe or my chop saw or anything like that. Whenever I take something out of the oven, I'm very happy about gloves. Exactly. But I mean, the tongs that I use, you know, they're relatively good for, you know, maintaining a barrier between the heat and my hand. But it is really difficult for me when I'm using my large welding gloves to like open and close them one-handed. So I just, you know, sometimes I'll use it, you know, the gloves, you'll see them occasionally, but I like the extra dexterity I get from just using, you know, no gloves. I am very conscious about safety, but some things are just easier, you know? All right, so we are going to straighten out this
Piece of metal. So I'm gonna put that there. So as you can see, this piece is a little bit curved because when we twisted it, we didn't have even pressure on it, so it curved in one direction. So we're gonna correct that right now. And we are using a rawhide mallet for this. And the rawhide mallet is never going to crush the material. It's only going to make minor adjustments to it. So that's why it's absolutely beautiful for just doing a little bit of extra straightening. So yeah, it's pretty straight again, and I'm pretty happy with that. So we are going to turn this over again. And we're gonna start working on our scroll. So I'm pretty excited about that. We're gonna take it on this side. So you can see our little shelf there. We're gonna take it on this side and we're gonna hammer off of the edge of the anvil with a glancing blow to kind of curl that tip. So then when we turn it over and create that J for the hook, the scroll will be back on it, and it'll be really nice and pretty.
Okay, now I can put this guy away. The worst part about a rawhide mallet is when you hammer it, all of the little fibers in the rawhide start to burn, and so it smokes, and there's kind of a little bit of a smell like burning hair or fingernails. And it's a rather unpleasant smell, but it is really the best way to make sure that you are hammering a piece of material straight without crushing it, if that makes sense. All right, so according to my bullet points, the only thing I have left to get shots of is curving the J hook, and then I need to brush it and get a beauty shot with it. But I don't think that I'm going to get the beauty shot on the stream. All right, now I need to check my cameras real fast to make sure that I've got that this one is not, or they're both recording, I guess. Okay, we've got 15 minutes on that clip, and we've got 9 minutes on that, so I'm gonna reset that I get what I need on that one, and this one too, because I can only record 30 minutes at a time reliably, and I wanna make sure that I get everything. Bonus, if you are stranded in the wilderness with your rawhide hammer, you can eat it to survive. I mean, technically you could, because I mean, you could like soak it in water, and then, you know, it would rehydrate a little bit and be, you know, chewable. But the rawhide itself, the outside on the, I guess this side, you know, the roll, it's actually waxed a little bit. So, you know, you'd kind of have to get rid of the wax a little bit. The beauty shot is ginger and strawberry smoothie. I mean, maybe. I could totally go for a ginger and strawberry smoothie. That sounds really, really good because it's starting to get really warm in here, and I'm not sweating yet, but you know, keeping cool is very important. Alrighty. Oh, it helps when you use the correct, or when you press the correct camera button. Alrighty. Pull this out of the forge. If I can, you know, do this. Always fight with these stupid tongs. Alright. So glancing flows off the edge of the anvil is going to start this curl for us. And you can kind of see that start right there. So we're going to flip it over and start hammering along the edge to kind of start a curl. So we're going to hammer a little bit further. So we've got a nice round end to this guy. I'm going to take one more heat, I think, just to kind of reshape this a little bit further. I want to take that tip and curl it all the way in, and then just roll it a little bit. We've got plenty of time we have plenty of distance that we can create that J with. So yeah, once we are done with this J-hook, because we have about a little less than an hour left, where I'm probably going to start focusing on the Fredricks cross. So we're going to use this piece of material, and I'm going to talk all about making a blacksmith cross. Okay. And in order to do that, I think what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to move the anvil camera again over to the post vise, so I can kind of, or after I'm, you know, when I'm ready to set this up, because I'm going to have to use the angle grinder to make a couple cuts in it, so that we can make the shape correctly. This is also something that you could use with a chisel, and I want to make sure that we have enough time for it, I guess. So we are going to use an angle grinder instead of a chisel. Okay, we have plenty of heat. What is the end of this comment? I'll allow that. A blacksmith cross is what very bad people get with a hammer onto their forehead of ash on Ash Wednesday. I mean, maybe. Instead of having like the ash, you know, with the finger, you get a brand. The blacksmith cross, it goes on a brand, and then they heat it up, and you know, you get branded instead of ash. I mean, maybe that you know, that way you don't get possessed or, you know, become a vampire. So we could do that. Yeah, honest language mistake. Yes, it is kind of a, you know, it is a word that would get flagged. However, I think that was an honest mistake, so I'll allow it this time. Okay. To the
I can manage to grab this thing. Okay. So we're going to keep on curling this guy. We're going to turn it this way and use this side of the anvil to kind of give ourselves a little bit of a curl. So I've got that nice curl going. I think it's pretty decent. Now we're gonna work on it just a little bit more. And then we are going to come over here and start curling this J. So we've got a nice start going here. We're going to heat this back up and finish that J.
Vorkaz, thank you so much for the follower, or for the follow. It looks like I have completed my follower goal. It also looks like I missed Bungalow Glow's follow. So thank you both for the follows. We love expanding our community. And I am so grateful and happy that you guys have decided to join us. Welcome in. Happy to be here. Yes, we are creating a community of crafters and people who are interested in the craft of blacksmithing. There are a few other blacksmiths on Twitch, and I have been having so much fun sharing blacksmithing with you guys. So a couple other blacksmiths that we have are Blacksmith Dan. He is a blacksmith and he's relatively new to Twitch. There's also, I forget his name. Yes, I follow Dan and Dirty. Excellent, excellent. Well, I'm glad that you follow Dan and Dirty. Who else is around? I know I'm missing somebody. Let me look real fast in my friends list. I know I'm missing a few. Lone Mountain Knife does a little bit of blacksmithing. He's mostly a knife maker, but he still does a little bit of blacksmithing. And then, who else? Korean Nature is also a wonderful blacksmith that you could check out. He's really great. All right, let's see. We are about to continue this J hook. And we should only need maybe 1 or 2 heats. The first one is basically just to continue that J, complete that curve, and then from there we're just gonna clean it up a little bit. So let's do that. Alright, see if I can get this to function correctly. Okay. So, all right, I think I'm gonna use this guy to clean up all of or in just a second, to clean up all of my fire scale, and we should be good to go. Let's see. All right. We don't need to heat it all the way up this time.
Mostly just to make it a little bit easier to get a hold of the fire scale.
Wolf Hemen 2. Oh, Wolf the Man 2. Just got done with my beat work. Work is finished. Awesome. I'm so glad. It is awesome to have fellow blacksmiths in the chat. I love talking to people about blacksmithing. I love getting advice and giving advice. I know for a fact that I am not the best blacksmith in the world, so if anybody's got any tips or anything, let me know. I am always up for learning. I will have to sleep, but thank you and have a nice stream. Well, have a lovely evening, Sandwich. Thank you so much for joining us, and sleep well. All right. I'm going to flip my clips real fast, refresh them so that I can start a new section of my video. And make sure I get what I need. Okay, good to go on that. Splitting my clip. So our next basic blacksmith project is going to be a Fredricks cross. So a Fredricks cross is a very easy project that a beginner can do. It is very good for helping a newer blacksmith kind of understand the way metal moves when it's hot versus when it's cold. So the first step is to cut a piece of steel. So right here I have about a 2-inch section of 5/8 inch steel. And what we're going to do is we are going to turn this into a cross. The first step
is going to be cutting in putting 2 cuts in this guy. Let's move this now that we are all finished with him.
Move that for a second. And let's see, I thought I had one here. We'll use this guy. So normally I would use a piece of soapstone to kind of like draw, but in this case we're just going to use a Sharpie. All right. And we've kind of got a half an hour to do this, so this is probably something that we're going to really start on Wednesday in earnest. So I'm gonna kind of show this a little bit, and then we'll probably start again from scratch on Wednesday. Okay.
So way that we do this is we want to cut this guy in half long ways. So kind of like a cut just like this. We want it to be nice and straight. And then we want to extend that cut all the way to the halfway mark. Right here. Right? So you can kind of see that Sharpie mark there, and we want to extend it on this side too. About the halfway point, right? And then we're gonna flip it over. So now you can kind of see this guy over here. And instead of doing like cutting it all the way in half, hot dog style, we're going to turn it 90 degrees. And then we're gonna do a vertical line right here. So we're cutting this guy hot dog style. 90 degrees, and we're going to cut him all the way to the halfway mark. And we're going to turn it over, and we're going to go all the way to the halfway mark. Alright, so if you look at this from the 3/4, you can see that the point here and the point here kind of lines up. So we're going to split this in with this line, and then we're going to split it horizontally with this line. Vertical, horizontal. And what we're going to do is we're going to cut off about half of this guy right here. And this is going to be the top of the cross. And then these guys are going to be the arms of the cross. And then this is going to be the legs. That's kind of how we're going to cut this guy to make a Fredricks cross. And then we're going to put it in the forge after we've cut all of those lines. And we are going to flatten it out, unfold it as it were. Metal hot dogs. If you have an iron deficiency, we'll get you a snack for you. Exactly. Iron hot dogs. I kind of always say hot dogs or hamburgers because when I was in kindergarten and you had like a sheet of paper, you know, you get the long side and the short side, right? So if I wanted to fold it in half the long ways, my teacher always used to tell me hot dog style, like a hot dog bun. And then if we were folding it in half like this, it was hamburger style because that's kind of like a hamburger bun. And I know that's kind of really basic and really simple, but that's how I always remember it. A lavalier microphone might be something you look into. It is difficult to hear you when you are at the anvil. Oh, you have one. Your scene switch must not be catching your audio correctly. Yeah. So I do. I have a lavalier mic that's attached to the wide shot, and I have a shotgun mic that's attached to my anvil camera. Unfortunately, I don't have the ability to purchase a second lavalier mic that I can like attach to the anvil camera, and every time I try to attach the lavalier to the capture card, there's like stupid echo, and so I just decided that I was going to, you know, it was going to be this way until I can figure out a different solution. So unfortunately, my sound isn't the highest of quality, but I do my best. So I apologize. Yeah. Yep, you'll get there. I will. I definitely will. But it's kind of difficult to acquire more equipment when I'm not quite making enough money to like cover my propane and my consumables. So we take donations, and we have gotten some amazing pieces of equipment from donations that we have received, like Mahalo funded our new bottle jack for our press, and I am so grateful for that. So yeah, as I get money and, you know, through just other sources and through the stream itself, I can start increasing the quality of our stream. So
That's where all of the money I make goes. Okay. So I don't actually have all that long left in the stream today because I usually only stream for about 2.5 hours. We did end up finishing our project early, and like I said, I was gonna start doing a Fredricks cross, but I don't think we're gonna be able to get far enough. So maybe we'll do some other stuff. I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you guys want me to, cut the Fredricks cross for Wednesday stream, or would you guys prefer if I, saved that for actually Wednesday and we do something like, I don't know, maybe a leaf at a 1/4 inch stock? Is there, something that you guys would prefer? Let me know. I've got like a few things that I can use. Like I've got this nice piece of steel that we could kind of do a leaf out of, or like I said, we could just do all of the cuts that we need for our Fredricks cross and wait to unfold it until Wednesday. I would love to see a leaf. Okay, let's see. I had a piece. Now, I don't know that I like that piece, but let us use. I have a couple pieces of stock laying around. Let me see if I can't find a good one. That's a flat piece. That is not right either. Here's a piece. Let's use this. All right, we're gonna do a leaf. Hopefully that guy will heat up pretty quickly. I can put this guy away. And it should work pretty well. There we go. That's better. All right. Okay. Today we've had a few less people show up. I definitely think it has everything to do with daylight savings time. It's been really rough because it's like you lose an hour of sleep, and not everybody does daylight savings time at the same time, and it can be so rough. I'm really tired myself. I slept in yesterday, so that extra hour, I didn't get up until an hour later than I normally would. But I don't know. It's hard to get to sleep when you go to bed an hour early. So I feel like I still lost an hour to daylight savings time. All right, I'm gonna shut off my cameras because or not shut them off, but like stop the clips that I have recorded. We will be doing another leaf later for the video, but this one is gonna be like a very rushed one where I'm not really like explaining it as well. And on Friday, I have plans on making a leaf where I'm doing a much more in-depth explanation of how it's done. So if you tune in that day, it'll be available for you guys. And if not, you can watch the VOD here on Twitch or on YouTube when I post it on that Monday. Okay.
And we're going to keep on keeping on.
Ugh. My nose is a little bit itchy. Ever since I used the rawhide mallet, I don't know. I kind of feel like some of the hairs that burned off are kind of like maybe floating in the air. Makes me really want to sneeze. Alrighty. So, yeah, today's been a little bit challenging. I feel like I was a little bit late, or I had a little bit of a late start, even though I got up on time. I went and I took a shower, and then, I went and I started editing stuff. And I posted the VOD from Friday, and then I started editing a whole bunch of shorts for YouTube. And I kind of feel like some of those took me a little bit longer than normal. I made about 5 of them today, and it just, I don't know. It took me, I just feel like it took me extra time today, and it just my brain was a little bit on the slow side. And so then after I finished those, I wasn't even hungry to eat. So I forced myself to eat something, and then, by the time I was done with that, I was a little dilly-dallying a little bit. So I kind of feel like I got out here late. And I'm going to blame it on daylight savings time. But yeah, one of these days, Congress is going to finally decide whether they want, the springtime or the winter time. And we are going to not have daylight savings time anymore. And I look forward to that. Because, I don't know, I really hate losing that hour of sleep. It's pleasant in the fall when you gain the hour, but losing it is just, it takes forever to get reacclimatized. And then your animals, every time the time changes, they get all confused. When is food time? I think food time should be now. I think my animals are going to be pretty excited though, because normally when I am done with my stream, they think that it's food time, and it'll still be early enough that it's not food time, but I don't feel like they're going to be hungry yet. At least it happens on a Saturday night. Exactly. Man, if it was going to happen on a Sunday night over to a Monday, nobody would show up for work on Monday. I mean, seriously. I remember when I used to go to church on Sundays with my parents during daylight savings time. It's like half the church congregation didn't show up because they slept through church. It was just so inconvenient. So I'm very glad that it is not on Monday, because I feel like a lot of people just would either be late or not show up to work for an hour. I like the later time for dog walking, no coyotes. Well, yeah, coyotes are kind of scary. They can be scary anyway. But the other thing that's so scary for me is like deer. We get a lot of deer around because I have like a really huge lawn, and then there's like a big field on this side of us and then a big field on that side of us. And the deer, they come out of the woods and then they just like hang out. And sometimes they jump my fence and stand up on our deck. And it drives my dog crazy. And I'm just like absolutely terrified because they're huge. I mean, you don't think, you see them from a distance and you're like, oh, they're just like normal dogs. No, those things are huge and they're heavy. And I'm just like terrified that they're going to just like charge me and attack me. And yeah, man, deer are huge. All right. So Dan was streaming on Saturday. He was streaming leaves, and he was actually making them under his power hammer. That was so cool. I have never seen a smith use their power hammer for like drawing out the broad leaves shape, and it was really interesting to look at. I think he used like a rounded die on the top and a flat die on the bottom. It was really, really cool. Fourth fiddle. I like the later time for, oh yeah, okay. Vorks, speaking of huge, years ago I was jogging in the forest when I was at my old hometown, and just a couple of meters off the path there were two moose, an adult female and a calf. Oh wow. Yeah. Moose. They're like as big as cars. I'm afraid of them. Like, I am so glad that I don't live in an area where mooses like live. I live too far south for moose. We just get deer and cows. And the cows, they're in their little pens, so I don't have to worry about them. But I am terrified of them because when I was a kid, I went and I caught tadpoles in my grandpa's farm's little pond, and it was the water hole for the cows, and they did not like that I was playing with their drinking water, so they chased me out of the paddock, and it was terrifying. That is dangerous business right there, a mama and her baby. Yeah, you gotta be so careful. Random Tinkerer, thank you so much for the follow. Welcome to the community. I'm glad you came. We are a pretty tight-knit community here. We're kind of small. We are trying to grow as best we can. But yeah, I mean, seriously, deer and hoofed animals in general, they're like terrifying, so scary. I feel like sheep aren't quite as bad, but pigs are scary too, especially like the wild ones, the ones that aren't penned up in people's farms. They're scary. All right. Whoops. I shared your stream with a makers community that I'm a part of. Oh, awesome. Thank you so much.
I appreciate that. We are doing our best to grow. I'm still a little bit new to the streaming community, and I'm a little bit new to streaming. So we're still trying to grow. We got a good tip for the end of the leaf, like the vine. So we're gonna start trying to taper that back just a little bit. And then we're gonna flatten out that leaf shape. We're almost done with this guy.
But yeah, we're kind of a small community. We're growing pretty steadily here. I've got a Discord, an Instagram, a YouTube, and obviously a Twitch, since that's where we are. But yeah, I'm just trying to share blacksmithing with the community and my love for it. I try to focus on information and kind of teaching people a little bit about it. And there's a lot of stuff that I still have room to grow. I'm a little bit rusty because, I started blacksmithing in, let's see, about 2010-ish. So, I have a decent amount of years under my belt, but I did end up having to take about a 5-year gap because I got really sick in 2020. And so it's taken me quite a bit of time to get back out here. I just kind of started back in November, and we've kind of been building our stamina back up. So it's been a while since I've done a lot of the projects that we do. So I feel like I'm a little bit on shaky ground. So we kind of learn together a bit. As I get more comfortable being back in the shop and with the technology that we have available to us, things will get a little bit easier, and I should have a little bit more confidence. But I'm excited to be here and streaming for you guys. I'm glad that you're able to get back to what you love. Exactly. It's like I said, it took me about 5 years to get to a point where I felt like I could come back out here. But yeah, getting sick is no fun. All right. I was glad to find your stream. My son built a small portable forge. I hope to pick up a little bit of knowledge. Yeah. I am always up for answering questions. If you have anything at all I can explain, any questions you have, let me know. I have a very large breadth of knowledge about a lot of different stuff. And if I don't know the answer for sure, I will find out for you. So, yes, I love sharing blacksmithing with everyone. And I mean, it's such a fun thing to get to do. I used to teach miniature classes for the SCA, which is the Society of Creative Anachronism. They're like Renaissance reenactors. I've also actually taught at Boy Scout camp. There is a local Boy Scout camp in the Midwest, and it's called Loud Thunder Boy Scout Camp. And I used to teach the Boy Scouts there, and it was a lot of fun. So yeah. There is inherent danger to blacksmithing, but it is definitely something that you can learn and grow with. Right.
Let's cut this off. Right there. So instead of using a cutoff, I use the corner of my anvil to kind of cut this off. It's something that you can do. It kind of creates a very, very messy line. So it's probably not your first option if you actually have a cutoff tool. I got, so one of these days I am gonna make myself a cutoff tool. I have a whole bunch of steel that I was gonna make tooling with, and I have not done it yet.
All right, so we'll put these guys away. And these are my universal tongs. The previous tongs I had are specifically sized for 1/4 inch thick square stock. And so when you draw down a piece that's smaller than 1/4 inch, they don't hold them as secure. So I've got a nice set of universal tongs. They're just like V-groove bit tongs. They are bolt tongs, and we will be making a new set of V-groove bolt tongs starting on Monday. So if you're around, come take a look. It is very important to stay hydrated in the shop. So I've got my 32-ounce water bottle. I only really stream for about 2.5 hours, so I'm getting towards the end of the stream, but I would very much like to finish this leap. So we will do that before we end the stream. Forging your own tools, cool. Yeah, I've honestly been waiting until my new bottle jack arrives. This is my press. It is a 20-ton pneumatic press, and the hydraulic bottle jack that's on it, it's a really cheapo Harbor Freight thing, and the overpressure valve broke on it, so it stays open all the time. So we ordered a new bottle jack, and we will be installing it this weekend, my partner and I. When I do things like that, I always want to make sure that I have a partner with me, and So that way I don't, if I injure or end up injuring myself, it's an extra precaution. So basically what we've got to do is we've got these nice springs. They're really high tension. So we need to pump this guy up to however far it will go, and then use ratchet straps to hold down this bar. And then once that bar is being held down by those ratchet straps, you let the air out of the bottle jack. And then the ram will come down. You'll be able to pull that out, put the new one in, pump that right back up, and release the ratchet straps. So that is how I originally installed this guy, and we're going to do it again this weekend. And once I have it completed, then I'll have enough, I won't have to use my own stamina, my own arm to forge the tools that I'd like to make. So that is ideal, is to get the press working again. It's been out of commission for a little while, and I'm very glad that we have been able to fix it. Of course I would drop it. At least I dropped it on my anvil stand and not on the floor this time. Here we go. Get a little bit more heat, and then we'll finish that vine out, and then we'll flatten out our leaf. So yeah, we are almost done. So I've got a few things going on. We just finished our silverware project. We made a fork, knife, and a spoon. I've got a condensed edited video of the spoon out up on YouTube, and we will be doing our fork this week, or I will be editing it this week. It should be out by Friday of this week. So I'm pretty excited about that. And yeah. Next week, we will be doing a video on the knife. So look for that one too. If I can get this out of here, it would be pleasant. That's good enough for now, and we are going to use our next heat to flatten out our leaf. Looks like I just started an ad. Thank you so much, Carnes1313, for the follow. Can you hear me? Like I said, I've got an ad going, but sometimes the ads aren't exactly when I think they are. So let me know if you can hear this. Otherwise, I will answer after the ad is done. Sounds good. Yeah. So I have been blacksmithing for about 10 years on and off. I came from a fabrication background. I did a lot of welding, a lot of cold bending. Strung with 2 adverts after you put the piece back into the forge. Okay, not a problem. I can make sure that I wait until the ads are done. I will redo my explanation. Okay. So I have been smithing on and off for about 10 years. I went to school for sculpture, and I did a lot of metal fabrication at school. So I did a lot of welding and cold bending. And I kind of fell in love with that. And then I had a friend who told me that, you can move your metal a lot easier and a lot better by heating it up before you bend it. So then I got really into blacksmithing. And so I've been doing that for, like I said, I've been doing blacksmithing on and off for about 10 years. I took a lot of really mini condensed courses from the Memphis Metals Museum in Memphis, Tennessee. They are a working museum, so they have a museum of metal arts as well as, and then in their backyard they have a blacksmith shop, a casting shop, and a silversmithing shop. So that's kind of how I, got my start in blacksmithing. And then about 5 years ago in 2020, I got really, really sick. And it's taken me about 5 years to kind of redevelop the stamina that I need to come out here to the shop and forge. So I'm pretty rusty, but I've been back since mid-November. So I'm starting to kind of get back in the swing of things, back in the groove. And so, yeah, that's kind of my blacksmithing background. I used to make a lot of furniture, custom furniture builds. So I've made coffee tables, kitchen chairs, benches, tables, desks, that sort of thing. Usually they have metal, blacksmithed metal legs and wooden tops. Oh no, the brick came back. All right. And I'm starting to lose my heat from the forge because my propane is starting to freeze up on me. Ugh. Dropping things. I'll be done. I think I'm gonna bring it down to one more heat because like I said, my propane tank is starting to freeze up, so I'm not getting the amount of pressure that I need to heat the material all the way. So because we're down to one more heat, If there's anybody that you guys would like to raid, let me know. I saw that Lone Mountain Knife Making is streaming, so we might raid him. But if there's someone else that you'd like to raid, let me know. Otherwise, we'll maybe Johnson or, Lone Mountain. Nice. It sounds like you're back on track. Smithing here, at least, seems to be a dying trade. Yeah. It kind of is. There are quite a few people who are really interested in it, but I kind of feel like there are more people who like watching it than people who want to do it. And I feel like that is kind of the problem. So I do the best that I can to kind of help people get started. So that is one of my major goals here on both Twitch and YouTube. So that's what we do. Let's see. I'd love to do it, but I don't have the space. Paloran, thank you so much for your follow and welcome in. Yeah, blacksmithing, it's a lot of fun, but it does take a lot of space. Like this shop here is a 1-car garage, and I've kind of like cordoned off myself like a 10 by 10 area for like my streaming. But I also have another, like a cold shop on the other end that I've kind of attached to this garage. So, I feel like the tools that I have, this shop is bursting at the seams. So it does take a lot of area, and it also, you can't just do it anywhere, right? You can't really do it in a city or like in a, like a homeowners association neighborhood. So sometimes it's hard to get started. I'm hoping to pick it back up once I get set up. I'm a welder currently. Makes sense. Woodworking and motorcycles take up a lot of garage space. Yes. And it all does take so much space. It also is a little bit on the expensive side. I feel like blacksmithing can be done really cheaply. But the more complex tool setup that you have, the exponentially higher cost that, setting up takes. So, yeah. All right. One more heat on this leaf, and then I'm probably gonna raid you off. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. I have had so much fun talking with you all and doing basic blacksmithing projects, answering questions and whatnot. Man, I dropped my piece of... I dropped my leaf in a really awkward position. So hot. All right, I'm gonna put you back in there for just a second. And that's gonna stay there for a little bit. Maybe it's not, I can do this. That's just gonna stay in there for just a little bit longer because I lost all my heat. I dropped it behind my brick. So obnoxious. Thank you, it's been fun. Yeah, my mic swapped. So I have a lav mic that's attached to my wide camera, and I have an anvil camera, and they have two different microphones because every time I mess with my sound, something else goes horribly wrong. And so this is the best sound that I've been able to manage so far. So I'm still working on it, but this is what I've got for the moment. Actually, it'd be my wife who does most of it. So yeah, thank you all for joining me. We're gonna do one more heat and then I will raid off. Let's see if I can make sure I don't drop this again.
And there's a fast, dirty, and ugly leaf.
So, not my best leaf, not the prettiest leaf, but a leaf nonetheless. I might be able to give a hand some other time and basically, but what I suggest is create an audio source that is the audio input from the correct place. But yeah, don't stress it. Yeah, so I definitely, would be interested in, any help that you're able to give me. I do actually have a Discord and the link is on the channel. So if you'd like to kind of, message me on Discord in either the channel or private message me, that I would be open to that. So yeah, thank you all for joining me today. We are going to raid off. Thank you so much, guys. It has been so much fun. Yeah, it was a leaf. New and old friends, thank you so much, guys. Have a great rest of your day. And we are going to raid to Johnson. He is a great knife maker.